Hello everybody, good to see you again. Some familiar faces, now I got used to some of you. I was asking Timo why we were here this time. Is it to lower the expectation because it's a bit more fancy at the Olympic Stadium? But no comments on that. Before we'll mention the names that we have chosen for this camp. I think I can say honestly, us, the staff, the players, after the Poland game, we were disappointed. Not only because of the result, but because we feel that we had more to give. We felt that we could have challenged Poland a bit more. Not saying that everything was bad in that game. For example, the pressing against Poland was actually better than it was in the home game against Poland. But it doesn't change that we were disappointed because we have put ourselves in a very positive situation where we had this, small final against Poland away. But we also see it as a positive thing that we actually can be able to be disappointed because we had an opportunity and we didn't achieve it. So it's something positive, at least, that we can go home from Poland and be disappointed. But nevertheless, we will still play or still fight for the playoff. It's I know it's a bit out of our hands, but we can do what we can do, and we will of course try to stay in the run for that playoff as long as it is possible. No doubt about that. And then we also have to remember last 4 games we played, 2 times Poland, Norway, Holland. When you want to qualify for the World Cup, 10 to 12 best teams in Europe go to the World Cup. We probably just met 2 of them, maybe 3 of them. So it has been some tough challenges. So that's like a short wrap up. And then last time was the first time I was so lucky to have the staff around me, the complete staff, and what a quality. I have to praise the staff and the people around me for having a very, very high quality, very skilled coaches. So I was very happy to be with them in the last camp and looking forward to stay with them again. We need qualified people in the FA. I need qualified people to get opinions, but at the end, it's my final decision. And the better I'm prepared, the better it is for everybody. But at the end, it's my decision when it comes to players and tactics. So now you got the papers, so now you're paying attention to that. That's good. If you look carefully, there are a bit more names than normal. When we look into the next camp, we can see that we have 2 games coming that will probably require different skills. 2 very different opponents. We have the same amount of respect for both opponents, but maybe there is a chance that the game picture is a bit different in those 2 games. So that is required some different skills. And why we are hanging in and fighting for this playoff, then of course we also have the long lights on. And when I was hired, it was not only a 6-month contract, it was with the long lights on to look forward to what's coming in the next coming years. And this is a great opportunity to see a bit more players, new players. It's a great opportunity for us to get to know them, besides watching them in the stadiums, watching them on Y-Scout, so we get to know them. But what is just as important is that these players, they come in and they get acquainted with our principles on the way we want to play, what is required to play in the Hukayat, what is required when you're a midfielder, what requirement are we putting in the games. And this is a great opportunity to both ways get to know each other a bit better and look with the long lights on what is ahead of us. Because the earlier we're prepared for that journey, the better. And if I have to put maybe a few reminders also for you, because then maybe I catch some of your questions that we still have. Adetsky, Lucas is still injured. he's getting back. Frederik Jensen is injured. Hoskonen, Håkans are still injured. So those are the main reasons why they are not in the squad. And then not only new players in, but we also have Tenho and Toni Miettinen. They are struggling a bit with some injuries, so we are keeping a close contact. It looks positive for both of them, but we have to, think one step ahead if something should happen and they should not be fit. So those are the main comments on the players from my side before you guys ask questions.
Okay, questions to Jakob, raise your hand please. Joni start, Jaak second. Janne,
Hello. I was from Atleti. About Adam Murray here, he had a little knock in the weekend. How fit is he now?
Also close contact with him. So far, no negative informations. He was last time we were in contact with him, he was actually, already trying to go on the pitch the following or 2 days after the game where he got this. So I also saw it on slow motion and saw it was a small twist, but hopefully he will be there because he also did a good job last time we had him in. Yeah. So
what kind of threat do you think that against Svanbeck and now the Skytte would bring to the attack?
Besides hopefully some goals and chance creating, but still it's a team effort. We need to move up on the final third. Against Poland it was a little bit long game because we had some issues in the first phase of the game. But of course we are looking for goals. We are looking, when it comes to the offensive part, we are looking for having players in the box. And, sometimes one thing is theoretically that you want players in the box, but you also need these players that it comes from a nature, how they do it in the clubs. And these two players has some of these skills that we are looking for. So that hopefully, so chance creating and final third entries and players arriving in the box. It's a massive and very important thing for us. Hopefully, both of them can add that value. Besides, they're good football players, and Svanbeck is a good link-up player as well. But both of them in the box.
You've been getting quite a lot of stick from the Finnish media about Leo Valter before, and now you've digged him. How do you describe him, and what does Leo Valter bring to the team?
Because you told me to. No. Leo, as I said here, we have 2 games coming up, 2 very different types of game. And if you look at the first one against Lithuania and compared to the last camp we have had against 2 very, very high qualified opponents, of course there is something with the possible game picture in these games, that at least the first game, that could require qualities like Leo has. So that's why he's picked. And of course we also have to also honestly say, when we look at the amount of qualified Finnish players, it's not like we don't have the luxury not try to squeeze everything out of the players that we have available. So I also said here that we need the players to come in. They need to get acquaintance what we demand of them, and the earlier we can do it with more players we can do it, the better it is. And this is also the case with Leo.
What's your view on Matias Siltanen? Like he's playing in very big role in a big Swedish team, so
yeah.
In the Finnish standards he would be considered for the A team. But is he too young for you?
Age is nothing. For me, it's as you can see here, it's a really, really big mix. Here are some older players that have to show they are still countable. There are some young ones that have to show their skills. Regarding Siltanen, I can say that yesterday I spoke with him in the phone, and what we talk about is actually between me and him. But just to answer your question is that also the next camp with Mika, he has 2 very good games where he can be challenged. And it's all about, looking at the broad picture for the Finland, but also at the individual player. How can we hopefully in some time get Siltanen to be a national team player, and it's about finding the right mixture. But of course, he's also a good player, indiscussable, a good player with some quality on the midfield that maybe we will also use them in the future. I don't know if that's enough for your answer.
Yeah, sure.
Good.
Panu.
Hi Jakob, Panu Markkanen, Kymppipaikka. About Adrian Svanbeck, I talked with him about a month ago after the San Marino game, and then he didn't know yet would he like to represent Finland or Sweden in the national team level. Now he's attached to Finland. Did you have this in mind at all when picking him or discussing with him?
Yeah, no, there are no, hidden thoughts behind that. I look at the player, I look at the quality, how he's performing on the under 21 in Häcken, and what we need, and that's all I care about. And then, of course, I was informed that he had the opportunity to go both ways, but I called him and I said, we need your skills and we want to get to know you. We are looking carefully at you. Are you willing to come in? And he said he would love to come in. So that's the only, that's the only thing I can answer. I don't know what else is going on in his mind, but there's no hidden thoughts behind it, not at all.
Now at least he belongs to Finnish national team.
Hopefully, and what's not to like being a part of that. So I think he was very happy when I talked with him, and he sounded like he would put an honor in representing Finland.
Thank you.
Lisäkysymyksiä? More questions? Joni, ole hyvä.
Also about Toni Miettinen, he also had a long injury, so what do you think he can bring to the team, and how fit is he now?
He can bring in some quality when has been playing. He's been helping the under 21 to qualify for the Euros. So you can see when you scout Toni, he's a good defender. He's a strong defender, and we need that. We have in this position also, looking for defenders that are actually able to play both in a back three or back two. So there are some of the skills he has and he possesses that both without the ball and on the ball that we see very positive on him. And then of course it's also about getting him so he's fit enough to show that. So of course when we bring him in here, also talk with him, of course we're not going to bring him in for 2 times 90 minutes. We also have to make sure to keep him fit so he can play more regularly in the club. So, but a high quality player that we are looking forward to get to know.
Jakob.
A bit about the Netherlands game. Obviously they have quality players all around the pitch, but one that comes to mind is Frenkie de Jong, who's making magic with Pedri in Barcelona. What are your thoughts about how to stop that midfield?
It requires a good structure and it requires some good skills from our players in the defensive behavior. When we look at a team as Holland, we are trying, also to make it eatable for the players. We're trying to look where do they create the most chances, where do they create goals from, which situations are they really good at. So towards this coming game against Holland, we will really try to dig into key elements in their game, like you mentioned with De Jong, and how to stop that as early as possible. So we can approach those situations in the smartest way, tactically wise. But of course, as you say, it's a high quality team, so it's required a high quality team effort from our side to stop that part. So that's part of my answer for that question.
I know you don't probably always like the questions about the players who are not in the team, but how do you see Glenn Kamara's future?
I think it's for all players coming into the national team, it's about, then there are these small in between, like now we talked about Toni, and it also depends on the position you play, but mainly you have to come in and then you have to be able to perform. And Glenn has been in a situation, with all the respect for his situation, where he has not played. I think last time he played was with us, more or less. And Glenn is indiscussable a good player, but at the moment, as you can see, there is also for this position there are other choices that are playing regularly, and that demand is the same for everybody. And then of course there are some positions that are a bit more delicate than others because we don't have that amount of quality players. But so that is the case. So hopefully Glenn will come back on track, play some minutes, play regularly, because he's indiscussable a good player. But at the moment he's not, fit enough because he's not played. That's the answer. And then on top of that, I even think he's maybe struggling a bit with a smaller injury. But